Good day, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode. It's episode 181 for August the 23rd, 2022. And lots of things to tell you, and I just want you to know that actually I recorded this in the past. It's really not August the 23rd, it's actually August the 22nd. But the reason for that is I am going to be away on the actual day when I record these episodes. So I recorded it yesterday, although it's now today, but not tomorrow. Okay. Anyways, we'll see how that works out. Are you completely confused? Yeah. So welcome to the Idiot Quilter. All right. So let's go to my current projects, shall we? So this odd looking thing, and it is a thing because I really don't know what it's going to turn into. This is made up of half square triangles, and they were leftovers from the Christmas quilt and the winter quilts that I did earlier. And I didn't really want to get rid of them, so I just put them all together. Now, if you look at this closely, you will see that some of them don't match up completely on the corners. And that's because these half square triangles were all slightly different in size. And I didn't take the time to trim them all down to exactly the same size. I was just throwing them together. And as I threw them together, this is what came out of that. Now, why would I do something like this, you'd say? Well, I'm clearing my palette, as I call it. I just finished doing the Halloween quilt top. I've still got to quilt that, so you're not going to see that today because it's not done. But I just didn't really feel like starting another major project. But I felt like doing something. So I grabbed all these half square triangles that had been leftovers, and I just started laying them out on my cutting mat, looking for a pattern, and then I threw them up on the design board and I just started sewing. Yes, they do not fit together perfectly. However, as this has been growing, I've been thinking about it. Now you're going to take a look at this and go, what's this block that's stuck up here? Well, that's up there on purpose. Actually, that was not a leftover. I actually made the block for that. And my idea was doing it as the a fan, a windmill block, that it would look like a star on top of a tree. Well, no, it looks like a chunky block on top of the tree. But I am going to fix that. And this is how I'm going to fix that. I've did a freestanding lace star on my embroidery machine, and I'm going to put that in the center. Now, right now, it's just pinned there, and I'll explain why in a second. You'll also notice there's some other pieces here. I have all this bluey area up here, which to me is sort of like winter sky, at least in my imagination it is. And I'm going to put more of these things along here as well to break up the solidness of that color. And then along the branches, if you will, of the tree, I'm going to put various little star pieces on here, sort of like Christmas decorations. Now I have two reasons for doing that, or that's what I think I'm going to do right now, is one, it's going to cover up where some of these little joins aren't quite perfect, and also break up the monotony of the quilt itself. Now, this big area down here at the bottom, what am I going to do with that? Well, I might do some freestanding lace Christmas presents if I can find a pattern for those, and put those all down here, maybe in a little semicircle in front of the tree and over, and that'll break up that solid border. And you're probably wondering why I have a border that is not the same size as the border up here. It's because this was becoming a rectangle and it was in landscape mode. I didn't want it to be in landscape mode, so I just realized something. This looks like a Polaroid. Wouldn't that be interesting if there was a way I could make it look so when someone saw it, they'd say, hey, that's a Polaroid of a tree. Just thought of that idea. Don't know how I would do that. Maybe a little black piece around here, but then that means I'd have to take the border off. But maybe I could do it with some stitching. Okay, I'm going off topic here. I'm starting to think out loud. That's what these things do to me. But yeah, I think I'll stick to though my original idea of putting Christmas presents down in here, kind of a thing. So I'm going to quilt it though before I add these embroidered pieces to it because basically, um, it's, I don't want to try and quilt over top of them because it's not going to work very well. So then I will attach these pieces, and I'm thinking right now that I may either sew them with invisible thread. I've not really used invisible thread before. Like I'd use something like Wonderfill or something like that, Invisalign that they have. Or I'm just going to glue them with fabric glue because this is not really ever going to get washed. It's not a quilt. It will be a wall hanging. Um, and yeah, I don't know. You can see I'm sitting here and I'm already trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it. So I'm playing. I'm just having some creative play. I'm not that worried about the final product. I'm just playing with ideas. So it will grow from there. So as it does, I will show you more about it later on. Okay, let's go back to me. There I am. So another project I'm going to be working on soon is a table runner for my sister. Now, my sister just recently redecorated her combo living room, dining room. She did repainting and she bought new furniture, and it looks really, really nice. And I was over there on Friday night for dinner, and she was mentioning something about looking for a table runner to sort of match the upholstery on her new furniture. And I said, well, I can make you one if you want me to. So, not realizing how much is involved with this. My sister and I are still, let's say, negotiating about the design. But I'll show you what the inspiration is for this. Let me find the picture. This is her chair. Now, the picture is a little dark. It doesn't really show it up, the fabric in it very well. I really like the fabric that's in it. I think it's really quite modern and funky looking. And it's got sort of teals and lime greens and blue grays and creams sort of in this. So I went shopping on the weekend looking for some fabric. Now I'm going to talk more about my little shopping excursion in a small town that is about an hour and a half east of us. But before I do that, I just want to show you the fabric I bought for this. And this is what I came up with. And I think they would work, but my sister does not. Again, remember, there's a bit of a color shift here between taking the picture with the camera and what you're seeing on screen as well. The colors here look fairly dark, but they're a little lighter than that. She likes this one, the light blue, and she likes the cream. Okay, these other three she's not fond of. The green she does not like. It doesn't have enough yellow or lime in it for her. So I went to my stash, and I don't think, no, I do not have a picture of what I've been looking up in my stash for this. And I've been sending her emails with the pictures of the fabric back and forth. I think the only way she's going to be able to really pick out the fabric she wants is for me to take them over to her place, and we'll just throw them onto the chair and pick them from there. I think that'll be the best way to go about this. So maybe next week we will do that. In the meantime, I'm trying to find a design. Now, my idea was that I wanted to do it as an in the hoop kind of thing because I thought, I can use more embroidery in it and that'll make it look a little more elegant. But I didn't find any designs that my sister really cared for. But I did find a design, actually it was Walter's suggestion, for a French braid table runner. And that's, French braid is all the rage in quilting right now. The design, it's just sort of a, if I didn't know it was called French braid, I would have called it herringbone, but I guess I'd be wrong about that. But anyways, it's all diagonal pieces set together. And she likes that. So I think that's the pattern I'm going to go with. So it will not be done in the hoop. It's going to be done in the more conventional way. She also wants to have points at the ends. So this particular pattern I found actually has those already in the pattern, which is good. I mean, I could have added points to anything, you know, any rectangular table runner, but she likes that. I don't know if she wants tassels on the ends of it because her old table runner had tassels. Personally, I'm not a fan of tassels, but whatever she wants, whatever Lori wants, Lori's going to get. It's like that song, whatever Lolo wants. So, because it's her table runner. So that's fine. So I'm working on getting that design finalized, and then we will fix it all up. Okay, so this fabric came from a store in a little town east of us called uh, Campbellford. Campbellford is a little town that has a population of about 3,300, and it's always had a population of about 3,300. I was actually born in Campbellford. My family all come from that area, but we moved away from Campbellford and into this area that I live in now when I was about 11 years old. So a long time ago. But there's still, you know, we still have some family that live there as well. And it's a quaint little town. However, I wouldn't want to live there. Um, it's just too quiet for me. Um, but anyways, we went there on Saturday. We had to go because I may have mentioned this before, but the family plot where my parents are at rest, and my grandparents and my great grandparents. My great grandfather bought this plot back in, I don't know, 1930s or whatever, and so that's where it is. And the footstones for my parents' part of the plot were never in the right place, so I had them relocate it, and it took a while to get that done. It's not a hard job, but it took a while. And they sent me a picture because, of course, they would like to be paid for that service, the monument company. But all they had was a picture of the footstone. I couldn't see where it was in relationship to the whole plot, which was the whole point of moving it. So I know it was in the right spot. So we decided we would go on Saturday, check it out, and make sure it was in the right spot. And it is. And I have now paid the company for that. So that's all out of my hair. But while we were there, we saw that there was a restaurant that had a really nice patio. And in fact, it was a restaurant that had used to be a church, and they've converted it into this nice little restaurant, which sits right on the Trent River Canal, because the Trent River Canal runs through the middle of Campbellford. And it's a nice little setting. So we decided to have lunch there. And I do have a little bit of video of that, which I'm going to insert here in just a moment. But the other thing about that was after lunch, we went to this fabric store I knew was there. Nice little fabric store, good selection. Prices are very good. And I bought some more fabric from them as well, which is where I got the fabric that I just showed you for my sister's table runner. But first, I'm going to insert the little video clip that I did. Now, the sound on it isn't as good as I would like it to be, and the problem was there was background music playing at the restaurant. And as you probably know, that YouTube, when it picks up something, a commercial music in background, they will demonetize you. So I had to do a little bit of voice enhancement through my software for this, which eliminates that background music, but does slightly distort my voice. So sorry about that. It's the best I could do. But anyways, here's the little video clip. So we're in Campbellford. We came down to check out the family plot to make sure the footstones are in the right spot, and they are. And we're having lunch here on this little quaint patio. This used to be an old church. You can't tell from down here, but you can see the patio and everything. And it's located right on the Trent River, this is part of the Trent Severn Canal system that runs through a good portion of Ontario that connects up various areas of Ontario to the Great Lakes. And wow, I can picture us. I'm just taking my picture.
No, I got a picture of your phone.
Oh,
for the face.
I can take my own selfie. Thank you very much. And my grandparents live right up there on the other side of the river. You can't see it on top of the hill. We're not down far enough where you can see it.
Oh, they lived there?
Yeah.
Your grandparents lived there?
Yeah, we went by the house before.
No, I thought they were dead.
Oh, they're so funny. Yeah, they are dead. Want to meet them? But yeah,
I used to tell very, very loosely. So.
oh, so apparently we're having the Montreal smoked meat sandwiches, and the chef just came out to tell us that he's just taken it out of the oven and he's about to slice it by hand, and he says it won't look perfect, but I don't care. It's fine to me. I'm sure it'll be great. And then later we're going to the fabric store. That's lovely downtown Campbellford. Maybe I can take some shots of that when we get there. So I forgot to take pictures inside the quilt store when we were in there, but I do have some pictures to show you what the outside looks like, and there's one picture in the corner showing you sort of the inside. It's a small little store, but they have a really great selection of fabrics, and the prices were really, really good as well. And they don't have a website, though. You can't order from them online. So basically, you have to go there to get it, I guess. You might be able to call them up and ask them about what they have. And they do have a Facebook page as well, but I'm not sure how that all works. But anyways, it was a nice little store. So as I said, we went to this little quilt store that's there. And yesterday I had a little picture of what this quilt store looks like, and I'm going to put that in here. So as I said, here's a picture of the outside of the store. It's called your #1 Sewing Center, and this is on one of the main streets of Campbellford, downtown. Now, unfortunately, I forgot all about taking pictures or video of the inside of the store. So this is the best I can do for you right now. This comes from their Facebook page. They do not have a website. And here's a picture of some of the staff, and you get a feel for, what's in this store. Now, it's a tiny store, but it's really packed with fabric. Lots and lots of fabric, and good prices too. $14.95 on average a meter. So that is pretty good. And I'm talking Canadian dollars as well. But a great little place. So if you're ever in Campbellford, which is a little town about 30 miles east of Peterborough, check them out because it's worth the trip for that. So I did buy some fabric, as I said, besides the stuff that I bought for my sister. So let me find that picture. So here's some more fabric that I bought while I was there. I dropped about $300 on fabric because I always buy a minimum of 2 meters of everything, with the exception of the Christmas fabric you see here. That's wide back. And wide back fabric, Christmas wide back fabric, is not easy to find, I'm finding. So I happened to ask when they were cutting up my other fabric, said, do you have any wide back Christmas fabric? And the lady there said, I think we have one. So she went looking for it, and this was the one she had, which is fine by me because it's definitely Christmas and I like it. So I bought 3 meters of that. And then I saw this gnome fabric, and you know me and gnomes. I actually already had about, I think, a fat quarter, maybe half a meter of this that I had ordered online. It was sort of an impulse buy back a few months ago when I was buying some other things. So I got it. I think it was on sale at the time when I bought that amount. Well, then I happened to see this in there, so I got 2 meters of it. I have no plans for it right now, but I like the fact it had these gnomes on it, one for every month, and I'm thinking this might make a really cute little either wall hanging or small lap quilt with maybe some applique gnomes on it on top. I don't know. We'll see what I'll make it, or a door banner or something like that. That's a project for down the road. It's in my gnome box right now. It's where I keep everything gnome related for future consideration. And then you see this thing here, this red, looks burgundy on the screen, I know, little thing. It's called a ruby beholder. Now, I had recently heard about one of these, and there was a discussion on YouTube on one of the channels that I watch where they were talking about, the value of fabric and trying to figure out, sometimes you have fabrics saying, well, which one of two is darker than the other? And this is supposed to help you with this. So you basically place it over your fabric and look at it through the red lens or red piece of plastic, and you can then determine easier which fabric is the darker of the two. So I saw it hanging there. I know these are not that easy to get. At least that's what I've been told. It was there on their wall. I picked it up. I haven't tried it yet, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to, for next week's Idiot Quilter, I'm going to make this into a short little demonstration, a little demo about how to use this. And it does come with instructions, so that's probably a good thing. Now, yes, I know you can also tell the value of fabric if you take a picture of your fabric as a black and white picture with your phone, and you can see it there. And I have done that before as well. But this is a toy. It's a gizmo. And you know I love my gizmos, so I picked it up. Okay, so that takes me to switch camera over. There I am. Speaking of demos, my favorite marking tool. My favorite marking tool is a mechanical pencil. And I use it on everything, pretty much. Now, of course, if it's going to be on the front of something where you would see it, I wouldn't use it, although it usually washes out without too much of a problem. But I use a mechanical pencil for, you know, my half square triangles, drawing the diagonal line, and things like that. So recently I purchased a more expensive mechanical pencil. I was using Bic. You get like a couple in a package for like $5 or something like that. Problem with those ones is that the lead kept breaking. It's not very hard. I mean, it worked okay, but I thought I'd like something a little more substantial. And Walter had at some point bought one for himself and he really liked it. So I went online and to Amazon, of course, and I picked up one. And I'm very happy with it. So I did do a little demo of this, a little video. So I'll just stick that in here for you right now. So this week in line of a demo, I just wanted to talk about my favorite marking tool. And this is it. And I just recently purchased this from Amazon. It is a mechanical pencil. So why do I like mechanical pencils in general? Well, they're great for marking on the backs of fabrics. The pencil mark will come out in the wash, but because you're doing it on the back of, say, a square of fabric that you're marking diagonally for making half square triangles, you don't really need to worry about whether or not it's going to come out in the wash because nobody's going to see it because it'll be embedded in your quilt. However, they give you a nice, precise, sharp line that you can see on most colors of fabric. Now, it might be a little bit more difficult on a really dark fabric, but for 9 out of 10 of the fabrics I'm marking during my quilt making, the mechanical pencil works the best. Now you'd say, well, why not just use an ordinary pencil? Well, here's the reason why. You have to sharpen a regular pencil and it gets dull very quickly. And as it gets dull, the line on your fabric becomes much wider, which means that if you're supposed to be sewing on either side of the line or even on the line itself, that could put your 1/4 inch seam allowance out by 1/8 of an inch. So a mechanical pencil is much narrower in terms of what the line is. So it keeps your cutting and your piecing much more accurate. Also, mechanical pencils, you can usually buy the type of not blade, but the type of refill lead that you want. Now, I use HB because it's harder, less prone to breaking. But in general, if you have a good mechanical pencil like this one, your leads that go into it, especially if you buy the name brand ones, in this case it's a Statler, you have less chance of breakage. They will still break, but you know, depending on how much pressure you put on them, but not as readily as cheaper ones. Now, yes, you can get cheaper mechanical pencils. You can buy a set of Bic ones for, you know, you get 6 pencils for $7 or $8 on Amazon. Well, I have some of those, and this is why I bought this one. I decided to invest in a decent one because really with those other ones, I'm going through leads very quickly. I am not getting the quality in terms of, you know, the darkness of the line, and they're just cheap. You get what you pay for. So yes, $22.10 plus tax for this one is a little bit on the pricey side, but I'm really glad that I bought it. You can go even more expensive than that, depending. Now, if you look here on the chart for Amazon, let me just go over here. You can see they come in various sizes. Now, I bought the 0.7 millimeter, but you can go smaller, right down to 0.3 millimeter, and you can go bigger, right up to 2.0 millimeters. So you can pick whatever you're comfortable with. I find a 0.7 millimeter gives me just the right line thickness for my quilting. So if you're looking for marking tools, the old-fashioned pencil is great, but a mechanical pencil is really the 21st century way to mark your fabric accurately. Now, another event that happened to me this week was my 3D, my 3-day course to learn how to use QuiltPath, the computerized software for my long arm. And believe me, my head is still spinning. It was 3 days of intensive study on how this thing works. It's a very verbose program, as I've said before, and the learning curve is steep. Now, the presenter of this, Angela Clark, she was very, very good. She knows her stuff. Like, she knows that program like the back of her hand. And she provided us with a manual, which was a godsend, because one of my complaints about QuiltPath was that you spend $14,000 on this program and it didn't come with any instructions. So now I have a manual, which is great because I'll never remember everything that Angela went through. I learned a lot. And as I said, my head is so full, it's ready to explode when I think about the QuiltPath. So I guess the best thing for me to do is on a need-to-know basis, as I'm working along with QuiltPath, if I decide, I wonder if I can do this, something will trigger in my mind from the course saying, yes, you can do this. And so with the help of the manual as well, and the notes that I did take during the course, I should be able to utilize whatever features I haven't been using so far. But yes, it is a very verbose, rented lips, verbose program, to say the least. And there were 18 of us in this course, which by my reckoning, that was too many. I was told originally there was only going to be 12, but there was a half dozen more. And the facility we were at Whirls N Swirls in Whitby, which is Tracy. You've heard me talk about Tracy Russell before. She's my APQS dealer. She is wonderful, absolutely wonderful person. So if you're in this area and you're looking for a long arm, see Tracy. But anyways, her facility has long arms in it. So we were, they tried to space us out and give us room as best they could, but just the facility itself is not conducive to that many people in a course. But we managed. We did manage. The other ladies in the course, I was the only guy, were wonderful. Many of them have their own long arm business, which was interesting to hear their stories, and they had a lot of stories to tell about customers, which did not make me want to start a long arm business. Well, I don't have any desire to start with, so I wasn't even thinking about it. But if I had been, after I've heard their horror stories from dealing with, customers, I definitely would not want to go into the long arm business. But yeah, so we learned a lot from Angela. We learned a lot from Tracy. We learned a lot from each other as well. So overall, it was worth the $600. Yes, it was $600 that I paid for this course. And I'm very, very glad that I took it. Okay, so that takes me to subscribers quilt of the week. And only about 2 hours before I started recording this, well, I didn't have anything for this week at all. And I was about to put in an appeal to everybody that I need things, and that appeal still stands. I have nothing for next week. So if you've got something you'd like me to show, send me a picture of it and a little brief blurb, 50 words or less about it, and I will feature it here. But in the meantime, 2 hours ago, Diane Platt Roberts sent me a picture of a table runner she had done, and it's beautiful. And thank you, Diane, for sending this to me. You saved the day. So here's my uh, my review of Diane's wonderful creation. This week's quilt of the week comes from Diane Platt Roberts, and Diane writes, "This is the table runner that Sherry McGill put out as a challenge. I backed it with one of my favorite theme fabrics, snowmen." So this is a really cute little table runner. As you can see, it's probably just the right size for a small occasional table, or would look nice as a centerpiece on a regular table as well. It looks like it's a great way to use up some of your scraps as well, and probably a fairly quick project. I see this as a Christmas quilt as well. Now, she did use the snowman as her backing fabric, which I think is really quite cute, not quilt, cute. And I'm just looking to see if there is any quilting on this. Um, I don't think there is, maybe some stitch in the ditch along the strip pieces, but either way, it's just a cute little project that I think you could rattle off in no time at all and would make a nice little hostess gift or something like that. So thank you, Diane, for sharing it. I love your color scheme, and I think it's just really cheerful. And that takes me to the YouTube channel of the week, and this one's got a neat name. It's called The Purple Wall. So here's what that's all about. This week's YouTube channel is a small channel, and you know I like to promote small channels in order to direct people to this particular content creator. And this one's called The Purple Wall. And if you can see here in the video selection, she has quite a lot of tutorials on different types of techniques and patterns for quilting. She has right off the bat an attic window wall hanging, and this is a very effective technique if you've never done it before. It is one that I have done a couple of times and I really love it. And it looks very complicated, but it's very, very easy. And in this particular video, she does explain exactly how to go about doing this. But she has other videos, as you can see, color block churn dash, double slice quilt pattern, charm square pillow, bookmarks, making a pillowcase, using the burrito method, temperature table runner. She has something called Sewing Sunday, Nomi's flannel. She's got a lot of various different things, and thrown in here as well are some things about gardening and cooking as well. So something here for everyone. So if you want something that is relatively, well, it's not new on the scene, but support a fellow creator, then check out The Purple Wall. And that takes me to a pattern that's on my vision board. This is one I recently purchased. It's an in the hoop pattern for a tree skirt, a Christmas tree skirt. And this one's pretty involved, as you're about to see, but I think it's going to be worth the effort. This week's pattern that's from my vision board is one that I really want to get started on very soon because this is going to take me a long time. And it's called the In the Hoop North Pole Village Skirt. Now, this is a great pattern, as you can see here, but it's a lot of detail into each one of these panels. And there's about 42 different hoopings. Yes, this is a project that you do on your embroidery machine. It is a, as it says, it is a tree skirt, and it's quite pricey, but patterns this elaborate tend to be so. It originally was priced at $50 US, but they had it on sale about a week ago for 50% off. And I see that it's on sale again now, but not for quite as not for the price I paid. I paid $25 US for it. It's now listed as $27.50. So oftentimes, if you want these kind of patterns and you want them at a really good price, then you need to shop early. I mean, this is August when I'm making this review, and this is a Christmas project. But it's going to take me up to this Christmas to get it done. I may not even have it done by this Christmas. But I love in the hoop projects, as you know, and I'm looking forward to making this one. I don't know if I'm going to use their color scheme or not. That's really up to me. Although I do have some blue Christmas fabric that I might use with this because, well, I don't think blue looks out of place in a project such as this. So we'll see. So that's called North Pole Village Tree Skirt. And if you're interested in getting it, it comes from Designs by Juju. And I will put the link to this in the show notes below. But if you want to get it at a really good price, you have to act now. So now I would be giving you a little teaser for my interview this week. I have not an interview to show you this week. I am out of interviews. So again, you've heard me ask for this before. If you have some suggestions as to who I could interview, remember, they can't be huge names out there because everybody knows what they're like. The Angela Walters, Donna Jordans, Jenny Dones of the world. I'm not interviewing them. We all know who they are. I want the little people, okay, to help them out with their YouTube channel. So I don't have anything this week. Next week, I will have an interview that, depending on how it goes, may actually be an entire separate video on my channel. I am going to Kawartha Quilting. You've heard me talk about Kawartha Quilting before. I shop there on a regular basis, love the store, and love the people that run it. And Zach, the owner, it is a family-owned business, but I guess he's the main guy. I don't know. And I have been in negotiations with him about doing an interview. I shouldn't call it negotiations because Zach was really up for this whole idea. It's just that when we started talking about it, there were other things happening in both our lives, so it made scheduling a little difficult. But we now have it scheduled for next Saturday. And I'm going to be talking to Zach about his business, and he's going to take us on a tour of the store. And it's a really nice store. Good selection of things, good prices, nice staff, the whole bit. And it's cute. It is just cute as well. So I will be doing that interview next Saturday. So it'll go up either next Tuesday. Well, yeah, I'm planning to put it up next Tuesday during the regular Idiot Quilter, unless it's kind of long, and that I may make it a separate video. As I said, I even bought new equipment for this interview. I bought a wireless microphone system that I can wire both myself and Zach to, and because I will do this interview using my iPhone for the video, which takes great video, but sounds not so good. But I got this really neat wireless microphone system. I've tried it out. It seems to work really well. So I'm going to be using that next weekend. So I hope the sound and everything are going to be of good quality for you. So that's next week when that happens. So what's that take me to next? Turn the page of my notes over. Online fabric store of the week. This one is called Country Clothesline. This week's online quilting store is called Country Clothesline, and this is in my own backwoods here. This is located in Toronto. No, I have never been there. In fact, until now, I didn't realize this existed. So let's check out this web page. So what do we got? Right on the front page, we've got new toweling, just arrived, picnic blanket, fresh off the line. So they're advertising some of their new fabrics on here and what their customers say. And you can shop in person, and there's the address and their hours. And it looks like they have a newsletter as well. Okay, so all that in the front page, which is nice. Let's go to shop now, and let's check out their fabric. So we're taken immediately to fabric. How is fabric organized? They do have a filter, all fabric. But here you go. You have quite a variety in alphabetical order of everything that they have. This is nice, very nice. And in this very extensive index are both the brand names and designer names as well as thematic and types of fabrics as well. So let's see. Let's pick something like, well, let's check out Northcott. I often go to Northcott as my standard. So because everybody, at least in Canada, knows Northcott. And having just said that everything is laid out here by company, I don't find Northcott. Okay, let's do a search. They have a filter. Do they have a search? Yes, they do. So let's go Northcott. And I just noticed that up here at the top, you can change your dollar amounts too. So you could switch it over to American if you wished. It defaults, of course, to Canadian. Northcott. And they don't have that listed. Okay. So maybe my initial impression of their indexing system was a little premature. All right. So they're featuring here Christmas fabrics. I just want to find something that might be standard fabric. Lots of toweling if you want toweling. Okay, so what I'm looking for is just everyday type of fabric to get a feel for what they're charging. Well, let's just go here. They've got prices from about $8.49, $10.95. I'm assuming that is half a meter. Let's check out my theory on that. Yes, it's a yard, half a yard. Okay, again, my pet peeve. It's a Canadian store. It needs to be in meters. I'm sorry, but it does. But $8.95 half a yard, so a yard that puts it at what? $17. So that's not bad. That's the on the low end. Then I saw $10.95 on here. So, you know, it runs, it looks like from $17 to about $21 a yard for their fabrics. Okay. Well, that's the going price these days. So we have fabric. Let's check out bundles and pre-cuts. It's always like my bundles and pre-cuts. And prices, pretty much standard. Ooh, they have, it looks like they have Liberty Fabrics here as well. And now, Liberty Flower Show Surprise Bundle. Well, 6 fat quarters, okay, at $34. Well, Liberty Fabrics are expensive, but here's something I don't like. When you first take a look at the thumbnail of this, it says Liberty Flower some surprise bundle. At first glance, it looks like all of those are in the bundle. They are not. It's just one of these with 6 fat quarters. Now, this one has a few more, and it's $79. So, you know, sometimes pictures are misleading. So read things carefully. Yeah, well, they've got some nice fabrics here. And basically their fabrics, they seem to like the Liberty line, that style of fabric by the looks of things. I've never bought any Liberty fabrics, but I'd like to. And maybe this is a spot where I should go to pick some up. Okay, let's take a look at thread. So they're not telling you who makes their thread right off the bat, but they have it by different weights. So let's do 50 weight because that's what, okay, let's see if we can get to 50 weight. Well, it's not letting me go there. So they do sell Aurifil though. That's what I want to check out. And they have bundles of it, $15.95 for 50 weight by the spool. That's okay. I think I pay $14.99. That's about $1 more. Well, it is Toronto after all. What about tools? Again, this pop-down menu does not stay on your screen. You have to click on the actual heading. They have the irons. They have wool pressing mats, buttons. Oh, they do sell wool. Scissors. Oh, and it looks like they sell the LDH scissors, which is also a Toronto brand, a Canadian brand of scissors, and they're very good scissors. I have reviewed them on my episodes in the past, and I love their product. And it's nice to see that this being a Canadian company is supporting another Canadian company. So yeah, they've got the usual standard kind of things. Kits. So they have William Morris throw quilt that's sold out. Nice. They do tell you when things are sold out. That is a good feature. I like that. Yeah, so they've got a few kits here, and as kits go, it's very hard to compare. They don't have a lot though. They have some embroidery kits too. So yeah, not a lot there to choose from. Books. Yeah, see, they really do like Liberty Fabrics. And yeah, different books here, the standard price for what a book may cost, depending. Okay. Again, not a huge selection. Gifts. Well, they have a gift certificate program, jigsaw puzzles, pin cushions, cards, that kind of thing. Patterns. Well, they do have some sewing patterns here. Looks primarily women's fashion, and they have some quilt patterns, some bag patterns. Not really an impressive selection. And a gift card, of course. It doesn't look like they have classes or anything like that. Let's just go to the bottom of the page. Let's see if we can find out about shipping. Here we go. So they ship by Canada Post. They say you pay what we pay. Therefore, you get the lowest shipping cost possible for the delivery service of your choice. Canadian orders over $150 get free shipping. Okay. So they pay, you pay what they pay, but what do they pay? Okay, let's order something. Fake order. I'm going to get some of this. I'm just going to get a couple of meters of that. Okay, let's go to checkout. It's calculated at the next step. Okay. All right, I don't want to do this. No, sorry. So I have no idea what they are charging. It's standard, so I guess it's Canada Post. The reason I'm not going any further in this is because I really don't want to share my contact information online. So let's get rid of this. How do I delete it out of my cart? I don't know. Cart. I guess just like this. Okay, so that's Country Clothesline located in Toronto. If you're into Liberty Fabrics, this looks like a spot you might want to check out for that. And so, speaking of fabric stores, there's going to be a lot of them that I'm going to be reviewing very soon because we're off to London, not England, London, Ontario, tomorrow. That's one reason why I started out with that convoluted explanation about today, tomorrow, yesterday, when I started today's episode, because tomorrow we're leaving for a 2-day excursion to London, Ontario, which is about 3.5, 4 hours away from us. But on the way, and once there, there's a whole bunch of fabric stores, quilt stores that I want to visit. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to take you along with us via video. Now, I'm going to try my best to record while I'm in each of these locations as well. And I'm going to take my new microphone system with me too. The problem when you go into a store and start videotaping, old term, when you start recording, is that it can be a little intrusive on other customers that are there, and I don't want to do that to people. I don't want to wreck their shopping experience. And also, some of the store owners don't really want you to take video. So I will be asking for permission when I first go in the store. I'll explain what I'm doing and everything like that. They'll love me because I'll probably have bought a couple of $100s worth of fabric in the meantime while I'm there. Yes, I'm going to visit a lot of fabric stores and I'm going to drop a lot of money. Yeah. Do I need this fabric? No, it's not need, it's want. I've told you that before. I do not have to justify it. I want the fabric. And so I haven't done this in quite a while. So I'm looking forward to spending big bucks on my stash. And of course, you'll be seeing all of that as well. In fact, I think next week on So Chatty, we will probably be featuring. That's probably what we'll be talking the most about on So Chatty is our visit to these different stores and what we bought. I say we bought. I don't know how much Walter's going to buy. He'll probably get the bug though and buy a little bit as well, but he doesn't buy fabric like I do. So anyways, I'm digressing away. I'm going to try to take video, as I said, excuse me, and yeah, take you along with me. And I'll probably videotape there we go again, videotape. I will probably record other parts of our adventure to the London area as well when we're there. So we're both looking forward to this trip. We haven't been anywhere this year, this summer. We're still not willing to go a long distance trip and fly, but I will let you know that we will be going on a big trip to Eastern Canada next June because the Canadian the Canadian Quilters Association National Quilt Show is taking place in Halifax, Nova Scotia next June. We've already booked our hotel for that. And I'll be purchasing our tickets as soon as they become available. And we will be driving there. And so we will spend part of our time in Halifax. And then I hope to get to other parts of the East Coast, like Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick. And on the way home, probably stop at Quebec City and Montreal. So that's our plan for next year. But we needed to get the hotel now for that because as soon as they announce more about the quilt show, the hotels are going to fill up very quickly because it's a big event. So anyways, that'll be next year. So this year we just have to do with our little 2-day excursion to London, Ontario and to buy fabric. Okay, so that's it for me this week. I hope you have a great week. I hope you get some creative things done that make you happy. And we'll see you on the next episode of The Idiot Quilter. Bye for now.